Good morning, folks, and welcome to the War Memorial here at Sunset Park. I'd like to have your attention, please. Jack Gallagher, bring your color guards to attention. Color guard, dead here. Present, hot.
Time in time, please stand off.
If you all would rise, uncover, and we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance. And please remain standing after that as the St. John's Military Band, directed by Wendy Stein, will be playing the Star Spangled Banner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! On! Hey! Hey!
We'll now have the invocation by Chaplain, Post 62, David Herman.
Today we are here to honor those who have served our country and given their lives so that we may stand here and still live in freedom. We need to be constantly reminded of our gift of freedom and of those who gave all to make sure the future generations continue to know the life in a free, democratic society. Remember those who have passed in only half of the task that is before us today. We must also carry their love, honor, and duty forward to the future generations that will pass. Our children must know who they were, what they did, and why they did it. To do anything less will be a disservice to their sacrifice and their memories. Those that are gone created a clear pathway for us to continue on. We must never waver from that path of freedom and democracy. Take their memories, take their dreams, and walk forward shouldering the cause of freedom. Carry it high and proud. They did, and now you must walk forward for them and for our children.
Thank you, Chaplain. My name is Stan Britt. I'm a commander with the American Legion Post 62 here in Salina. As most of you know, we being the American Legion and the VFW, each year we do this opposite of each other. So this year it's the American Legion's turn, next year will be the VFW's turn. Thank you for coming here this morning to recognize our fallen comrades. This morning, our guest speaker is going to be our Mayor, Kay Crawford. And her commitment to Salina is to improve our streets She's going to make our streets great again. Okay?
I hope to make all the streets better. Let's put it that way. I'm working on it. Friends and neighbors, welcome to today's ceremony, and thank you so much for attending. I'm very, very honored to be speaking with you today on this important occasion. We are here to honor our service members and to remember their sacrifices and the courage it takes to defend, honor, duty, and our country. As we honor our heroes, we remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and say thank you for their sacrifices. Thinking of the servicemen and women who join us in this group today, and those are here only in spirit, a person can't feel anything but awed by it all. And when I say only in spirit, I have to say and include my husband Lee, who passed away July 9th of this year and was in the Air Force over 20 years. We were married 52 years. I'd like to ask all the service members and veterans who are here, those who are sitting, please stand, and those who are standing, please just raise your hand for a few minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your service. The service members that we honor today come from all walks of life, but they all share qualities like courage, pride, determination, and integrity. Many of them didn't ask to leave their homes to fight, and in the past didn't even volunteer. They didn't go to war because they liked fighting. They were certainly people who responded. And they were just ordinary people. I'm sure many of you remember, I certainly do, when some of them didn't respond, instead went to Canada, and they fled. In 2001, President Bush observed Veterans Day by announcing the Lessons of Liberty initiative, a way for students to learn about America and its values, as well as the men and women who have been called on to defend our freedom. At the same time, President Bush said we must remember that many who served in our military never lived to be called veterans. We must remember many had their lives changed forever by experiences or the injuries of combat. All veterans are examples of service and citizenship for every American. Veterans Day used to be called Armistice Day, and originally designated as a day to celebrate the end of World War I. The First World War officially ended on June 28, 1919 with the Treaty of Versailles. As time went on and we were engaged in other conflicts, including World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and many other conflicts we had, veterans groups lobbied for a change so that we now honor all veterans on Veterans Day, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And that's why we're here today. Some of you are too young to remember, a lot of you probably are, but I remember when Vietnam was raging on, Walter Cronkite, who used to be on CBS News, brought the war and the jungles into the living rooms of our homes. And it was the first war that was ever really brought into our homes. I remember when I was home with my mother here in Salina, one night Walter came on and he said the North Vietnamese were at the huge gates of the Ben Hoa Air Base. That's where my husband was. I had problems sleeping after that, and I remember when my husband came home, he was extremely thin, and he never was thin, and all of you knew he was pretty chunky. Anyway, we have awarded medals to many soldiers. We've added names to monuments and named buildings for them to honor them for their bravery. But you know, nothing can ever really replace the hole left behind by a fallen service member, nor comfort the ones left behind. Today, throughout the country, people will gather together, as we are here today, to remember and to honor those who have served our country. Our gathering here in Salina is just a small spark of the pride that burns across the nation today and every day. It's not a lot, but it's one small way we can honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can live in freedom. I heard just recently on the news that we have lost 3 U.S. troops in Afghanistan, and so it goes on. Terrible news to those families. If tomorrow, after this ceremony, we roll up all the banners and go back to our daily lives and forget the bond between the service of our veterans, then we will be doing a disservice to our veterans and to the cause that they served. Let us not forget, even as we celebrate our heroes here today, that we still have men and women all over the world, not just in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have them all over the world fighting for our freedom. Your presence here today, and I see a lot of you I know, and that of everyone gathering all across the country is a tribute to those lost troops and to their families. I'm going to leave you with a poem. It's called Remember. And I always get a little emotional when I do this. It's called Remember. Remember, it's the soldier, not the reporter, who gives you freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who gives you freedom of speech. Remember, it's the soldier, not the organizer, who allows you to demonstrate. It's the soldier who salutes the flag, whose coffin is draped with the flag, and who allows the protester to burn the flag. Thank you to all of our soldiers, servicemen and women, and their families for their sacrifices, and may God bless America. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mayor Crawford, and I'm sure everybody is ready for those streets to get great again. If you would join me in a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Today we have a special presentation here this morning for someone who has served their country in this community for a long time. Master Sergeant Jack Gallagher, United States Marine Corps. Sir, we appreciate you. Jack informed me this past Sunday that this will be his last time serving as Sergeant at Arms. Jack entered the United States Marine Corps in 1950. He is a veteran of the Korean War and the Vietnam War. Jack was a drill instructor on Parris Island. He was tough, but he was also someone that the recruits looked up to and respected. In July of 1970, Jack retired from the United States Marine Corps. 3 days later, he left New York, and 3 days later he was here in Salina. And he was going to work with the Salina Police Department. Jack spent 23 years on the police department here in Salina. And during that time, He served his community and touched many lives in positive ways. Just one quick example. A longtime friend shared with me how Jack helped change the direction and purpose of someone's life. He suggested to him that the Marine Corps might help him achieve that goal. He joined the Marine Corps, did one term, married my friend, accepted her 2 young boys as his own, and became a productive citizen in Salina until his unfortunate passing a couple of years ago. For the last 44 years, for the last 46 years, 44 of those Jack has served as Sergeant at Arms for the Memorial Day and Veterans Day services for the American Legion and alternating with the VFW for the responsibilities each year. We would like to make a presentation to Jack at this time, a certificate of appreciation. The veterans organizations of the American Legion, Veterans from Foreign Wars, along with the community in which we live, present this certificate of appreciation to Master Sergeant John Jack R. Gallagher. Our deepest thanks for your service to our country with honor, duty, and commitment, with passion to the cause. Your bravery and strength of character represent what America stands for. May God continue to bless you for all you do for us each day. We will keep you in our hearts. Our deepest thanks and appreciation for being that wonderful person who always was willing to extend his helping hand. Thank you for your leadership, dedication to the United States Marine Corps. Semper Fi. The certificate here has been signed by Mayor Crawford, myself from American Legion Post 62, and Richard Fisher, the commander for the VFW, Post 1432. We have one other quick presentation we would like to give Jack, and that is a quilt, a lap quilt that has been made specially for him. It has patches and stuff for the United States Marine Corps. And these ladies are going to hold it up here for you so you can see this. This is given to Jack by the American Legion Riders. David, would you present Jack with a coin? Thank you, ladies. Jack, thank you very much for your service to not only your country, but your community in which you live. It is second to none. At this time, Jack, if you call your color guards to honor, and we'll have the firing of the guns.
Here! Green, red, we stand on.
Order! Hump! Cadets! Heading!
Order! Out! Hey! Hey!
At this time, we'll have a benediction by Chaplain David Herman, Post 62.
We remember today all those who have come before us and given us the greatest gift of our democratic nation, their lives. Their duty, their honor, and their lives are precious gifts that must be given to the future of our country and our families. The duty of our veterans, past and present, is the fiber of the world freedom and is stronger by our recognition of service and sacrifice. We honor that service and sacrifice today and should carry it forward for our children to honor. Freedom and democracy are the result of all the most honorable this country has produced. Today we stand to remember the most honorable amongst us, and we must continue to carry the burden of their sacrifice, lest we lose sight of what true freedom is. Today is for remembering. Stand in honor of them. Walk in their path of duty. Remember the cost, and hold in your heart the cause of freedom. We remember today, Veterans Day, and all who have served.
Thank you, Chaplain. You know, each year at our ceremony here in the park, we have young students that come here to observe this, and that's just wonderful. I really appreciate those students that come here. And they would appreciate to be able to talk to some of the veterans that are here today. So some of you maybe could stay behind and get with these youngsters and talk with them and answer their questions, because I'm sure they're full of them. At this time, I'd like to say that there will be a luncheon served at the VFW at 1108 West Crawford. When you get there, just go in, sit down, and we'll give folks a little bit of a time to get there, and then we'll have a prayer, and then we'll have a little bit to eat. David Nichols, our bagpipe player, was here today, but his bagpipes are not. They were not working up to his standards. So, but we appreciate for him being here also. Master Sergeant Jack Gallagher, retire your colored guards.
Cadets! Stand here! Dismissed!
Thank you very much, folks, for attending our presentation here today.